This is the plaintiff, Brenda Hill. She says she's been friends with the defendant for 18 years, and this is the last place she ever thought she'd be, in court suing them. Turns out they hired her to write and produce a skit for a fundraiser they were having. When she got to the benefit, she was shocked and disturbed the skit had been canceled. Now she's out money she laid out for a musician and transportation costs, and is suing for the $914 she's owed. These are the defendants, Vanell Loyal and Lois Nelson. They say the skit the plaintiff came up with was quite boring. They suggested she make specific changes. The plaintiff refused, and the skit wasn't viable for their event. The woman's not a team player. She was in fact the one who canceled the skit, and the plaintiff is crazy if she thinks she's getting any money out of them. They're accused of not having the show go on.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendants hired her to write and produce a skit, but then got stiffed. The defendants say the skit was lame and she wouldn't take notes. It's the case of your shtick is...
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Brenda Hill,
Yes.
you are suing Vanell Loyal and Lois Nelson?
Yes.
Okay, for $914 that you say you are out as a result of them pulling the plug on a skit that you were going to perform. Okay, explain to me what's going on here.
Each year we have a fundraiser, and we provide funds for kids that are coming out of high school.
Coming out of high school and wanting to go to college.
Go to college.
So this fundraiser raises funds for college for the kids?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm here about a breach of an agreement.
Okay.
All right, for 8...
Who's we who puts this fundraiser together? I think you folks don't want me to use the name of the organization. That's fine, I'll respect that, but just tell me what kind of organization is this? Who's we?
A fraternal organization.
All right, so go ahead.
We had rehearsals. I had wrote it, and...
rehearsals and wrote what?
I had wrote the skit.
A skit. And what was the skit supposed to be about?
The skit was supposed to be about a small group of widows who had lost their husbands. Now they were, after years' time of mourning, they were going to enjoy themselves.
So you all get together on what date was this supposed to happen, or what date did this happen?
The 30th of March.
Okay.
And I had gotten the people together. They came. I was a little late. And I called Lois. I was about 5 minutes away from...
Lois is Lois Nelson, and she's your mom?
Yes.
Okay.
I called Lois, and I asked her...
What time were you supposed to be there?
I was supposed to be there about 7 o'clock.
And you were calling her to tell her you were running late, and you got there at what time?
7:15.
Okay.
All right. To ask her, would she tell my guests that I was on my way? I was 5 minutes away from the restaurant.
So this fundraiser is taking place at a restaurant?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
When I talked with her, she told me, oh, it's been canceled. And
the event or the skit?
No, the skit. She said
Okay.
the skit was canceled. When I asked her to tell my guests that I would be right there. When I did arrive, I said, why did you send my guests away? So she said...
Wait, she sent your guests away?
Yes, because they were there to take part in it.
Right, but your guest decided to leave because it was canceled. She didn't say, you got to get out of here, did she?
No.
Okay. Did you ever ask her why was the skit canceled? I'm not understanding that with the role the skit has in the fundraiser. Is this just one skit that was going to happen?
No.
How many skits were going to go on?
3.
All right. And then your group, who decided for your group that yours wouldn't go on?
I didn't. Your Honor, can I?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
What's going on?
As I said before, this is a fraternal organization, and it has 2 major fundraisers a year, and this is one of them. Within this one fraternal organization, there are 13 smaller sub-organizations, and each one voluntarily chooses to get together to put on a skit to compete to win.
Is that every year, or just that's what you decided this
It's been
year?
for the last 2 years since my administration.
And what's your role in this organization?
I'm over the organization for the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
So you're the big kahuna. You're on top of all these little subgroups that we're going. Okay,
yes.
go ahead.
The categories.
But you belong to one of the subgroups.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The categories to win include sale of tickets, sale of advertisements in the Souvenir Journal, a project to raise money, and also the competition, which would have been held the night of the event. Brenda Hill didn't sell any tickets. In fact, she hasn't even paid for her own ticket yet. The rehearsals never really came together. The spotlight was, I think she was going to use something that looked like a little flashlight, and the music was never coordinated with the DJ. It was a Mardi Gras theme, and the colors of the Mardi Gras are purple, gold, and green, and Brenda wore red. Why
can't Brenda wear what she wants to wear?
Brenda does what Brenda wants to do.
No, why can't she? Why can't she wear red if she wants to? I'm not
Because as an organization to show solidarity, we usually
was everyone supposed to have
usually
to
generally wear within the
purple, gold, or
confines of
green?
the color.
Okay.
I was.
All right, but obviously the decision not to put a skit on was made before you saw her attire at 7:15. So I'm not getting the relevance of this.
That previous Monday, the event was scheduled for that Friday evening. That previous Monday, when we had our regular monthly meeting, when she informed us that she didn't have anybody to play the waiter, and the other gentleman who was going to play Louis Armstrong was not going to be there, I said in front of the whole group that I'm not going to participate.
Okay.
Okay. No one canceled our skit because that would have taken a group effort.
Okay.
All right.
So you just said, I'm not participating.
I said that on Monday.
Well, what did everybody else say?
I don't really know. What I heard later is that others didn't. There were a couple who came prepared to do their part in the skit, and nobody stopped them from doing it.
Okay, tell me about that Monday where people sort of like, I got this, I got that, and some of the players were not able to do it, so you had to find refills?
True.
Fill-ins, not refills. Fill-ins.
All right.
Okay, what are you suing for? Because you were never
right.
going to get paid for all this.
Okay.
This was all supposed to be, but you feel that you were promised an opportunity to perform, and you ended up embarrassed because it didn't happen, and you're out some money, and because it didn't happen, you want who to pay you the money? Vanell? Because you think it's her fault. Because you're suing Vanell and Lois, so you think it's their fault.
The person that told my guest that it had been canceled was Lois Nelson.
Ms. Nelson, what did you tell her guest who was there?
So she wasn't supposed to be get paid, but now she wants to get paid because she's embarrassed. Did she get her money?
No.
Why?
I don't think she should get her money because she's embarrassed. It's just the ego. It's just
Yeah, but she's saying, when I said I wouldn't get paid, I assumed the skit was going to be performed.
But they said that they weren't going to get paid. There was no money involved, so she shouldn't get money.
There's no way I'm going to justify this. This woman shouldn't get paid. A deal's a deal. Going inside the courtroom.
The young lady was sitting at table number 9. She said, I am a guest of Brenda Hill. My fiance is going to do a part in the skit.
Okay.
And I said to her, to my knowledge, there wasn't going to be any skit.
Okay. Okay. And what money did you expend that you're suing for here today? You're suing for $60 owed for trumpet player to record songs for skit.
That's what he told me his price was.
Did you pay him?
Yes.
All right. $64 owed for transportation to and from rehearsals.
I have to use paratransit.
All right. So then the rest of your claim is for pain and suffering, and $450 for your talent and your time of writing the skit, which went to waste, I guess you're saying. Okay, let's call this what it really is, because what's happening here, I think, is that you were embarrassed that you had people coming to fill in those spots.
Yes.
You had it under control, and then somebody else took that rug out from under you, and it was embarrassing.
Yes.
Why didn't y'all just let the skit happen? If it didn't win, it didn't win. Why didn't you? I'm just curious.
It was never a group decision to cancel it. I wasn't going to be a part of it because...
So why's your mother, why, Ms. Nelson, why are you telling people, oh, my understanding is it's canceled? Where'd you get that understanding if there was no decision to cancel it?
Because at the meeting on Monday, at our chapter meeting on Monday, we said we weren't going to participate.
No, you didn't.
Why didn't your guests just wait for you to arrive 1.5 minutes later and talk to you, and then you talk to them, and then figure out if the skit could go on rather than listening to what Ms. Nelson said?
Miss Nelson has a way of being very intimidating at times, and she can be she can be as nice as she can be. She can be just that nasty.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
I just want to say this. If we had done the sketch, Brenda wasn't going to get reimbursed for those prices.
That's true, but let me explain to you a couple of things. What she's saying is a concept in the law that is valid, and that is this. I spent money because I thought that I was going to have the fun of participating in a skit that everyone would know I wrote and I did, and I would get the pats on the back and the joy. And then they deprived me of what they promised me. And the only reason she spent whatever money she says she spent was thinking you'd stick by your promise that she'd get to perform and her skit would be performed. And her argument goes, because you eliminated that you reneged on your promise, then she gets her expenses paid. Okay, not pain and suffering and all that other stuff, but at a minimum, her expenses. I would never award her pain and suffering. I would never award her the time for her talent and all that. That was never part of the deal. But arguably somebody in her shoes, if she could prove that you folks had gone back on a promise and the only reason she spent $60 on a trumpet was because of your promise, and you guys had arbitrarily said, change our minds, she would legitimately have a chance to come to court and sue for the $60. Now, that's not the situation that I see here. You know, what I see is a very voluntary, loosey-goosey thing. I see sort of a comedy of errors and misunderstandings. I see maybe Ms. Nelson speaking for a group that she doesn't have the business to speak for, saying, I believe it's canceled. I thought it was canceled. I see Ms. Loyal saying it wasn't canceled, even though she's telling your guests, oh, my understanding is it's canceled. You do see that, right? That you have like a difference of testimony there. I see you being 15 minutes late, so you can't handle the problem before it becomes a big problem. Mm. I see your people not being able to wait 15 minutes for you to show up. Okay? So I don't see a situation where people who made you a legally binding promise turned around and withdrew their legally binding promise. I see this as just one of those things. And just one of those things does not entitle you to $914 in compensation. I rule in favor of the defendants. Thank you.
So simple. Establish the ground rules in writing before you make a deal to perform work for anybody.